Hello, this is Essie, the rich woman, and this is my third time trying to make this video. It keeps stopping on me. Um, it's almost 4 p.m. It's Saturday, and I'm finna leave for work soon, but I just felt it on my heart to make this video because I think a lot of people go through this. Um, so I just want to say for the people that work for people, like daycare service, cleaning their house, or being a driver for wealthy people, or people that that's doing better than you are financially. Um, a lot of times, those people, oh my goodness, a lot of times those people forget to pay you, but they don't forget that you're supposed to be doing a service for them. Um, don't be stressing out. Tell that person, I need to get paid. Um, they wouldn't like it if they did a job for someone and then that person forgets to pay them. You know, I did a private ride last night. Someone contacted me, asked me to pick up their kids from someone else's house, which was near high school, and then bring them to their house. So she was contacting me. She was texting me the address and everything, to pick them up, address to drop them off, about what time to pick them up, and all this stuff. So she was clear communication with me through text. So I picked up the kids, dropped them off at her house, and it was one of those houses that have the automatic gate. So once the kids went in, they was like, thank you and everything. They went in and the gate closed. And I'm like, okay. So I text her, so do you want my Venmo information? And I hear nothing back. Now I know that they were having people over, there were several people over, and they was having like a get together, and they were drinking wine or whatever. So I know that's probably why she didn't want to go and pick up the kids. So I'm sitting in my van and I'm waiting at this gate, like waiting for her to respond, and no respond. And so eventually somebody comes from the back and pushed the button and the gate opened. I said, shoes, I'm going up in here. I'm going to tell them I want to get paid right now. So I went in, I got out the car, and I was knocking on the glass door, but of course they wasn't hearing me because they were all talking and whatnot. But I could see through the window that, they all right there in the kitchen. I think they was near the kitchen. And so I'm knocking and knocking because I just don't want to step into somebody's house. But they was not hearing me. So I had to open the door and step in and try to get somebody's attention. And so I did see a woman, I got a woman's attention. She was like, oh, hi. She was kind of drunk too. But she's like, oh, hi, And so I was like, oh, I dropped off the kids. I just went to get paid. And so then the lady that I knew, she came and hugged me and stuff. And so that's when one of the mothers said, do you have Venmo? I said, yeah, I send you the Venmo. And so I sent her the Venmo. She paid me right away, before I could even get back to my van. But what I'm saying is, once I dropped off those kids and she saw those kids came into that house, she should have automatically picked up her cell phone and sent me a payment, asked me, do you have Venmo? Send it to me. Not continue to talk and all this stuff. You see your kids came in the house. Now you forget about me. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's a lot of people that go through this, but I could not dare do something like that. If I had someone to pick up my kids, once my kids step in that door and I see my kids, I'm going to the phone and I'm going to send payment to that driver that picked up my kids. I'm not going to continue to talk, continue to drink, and carry on like you haven't had a service done for you. So it's a lot of people that go through this. I know it is. And the people appear to be wealthy to me. And I know it's a lot of wealthy people do that. You know, stop letting them do that to you. Stop, even if they're not wealthy, stop letting them do that. You did a service for them. Tell them you want to get paid. You got bills too. You got things you need to do too. And stop. I saw one girl on social media, and she was just crying. She was stressing out because she had worked for these people, and one of their childs, I think, was special needs. She had worked for the people, and they still hadn't paid her. I think it was like, I don't know if it was the next day or later on that evening, but she was just stressing out because she had did this service for them, and she said, I know they probably forgot. No, none of that forgetting stuff, because they didn't forget to tell you when to be at their house to take care of their kids. They didn't forget to tell you when to be at their house to pick them up and take them wherever they gotta go. They didn't forget to tell you when to come to their house and clean their house. They didn't forget none of that. So, but when it's time to pay, automatically, all of a sudden, they forget. No, remind them. Remind them that you need your money right now. So that's what I did last night. But I had already been through situations where I didn't do that. And so I know from the other situations where I didn't do that, I was like, no more, no more. Now all of a sudden you forget me, but what when you wanted me to pick up your kids, you remember it. Like, no more of that. Stop that. Stop letting them get away with that. I had one woman I did a ride for all day, picked her up, her and her husband, and out of town couple, and took them back home. Now it was it was hours that I had drove for them. Took them back home, and she's gonna tell me, I'll pay you later. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, she's gonna pay me on my way back. Well, at this time I didn't have a home, but on my way back to my area. I'm thinking she's gonna pay me before I even get there, But no. 2 hours later, I got to the point where I was like, this is ridiculous. And I text her and asked her, when are you going to pay me? And that's when she sunk it. No, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. It takes a few seconds for them to Venmo you or however they're going to pay you. Just a few seconds. Last night when I went into that house and I talked to them and I sent the lady my Venmo, she paid me before I could walk back to my van. That was seconds. Before I could walk back to my van, she Venmo'd me. So it takes just a few seconds for them to pay you. Ain't no forgetting. Like that's crazy. That's like after they have used your services, now you're no longer important. Now you're no longer important enough for me to remember or for me to text you for payment. But you were texting and you were remembering me before you got the service. So I think it was something else. Oh yeah, this was when I wasn't working. And I was crocheting, and I was using the crochet money to buy food, to buy a hot meal, because food stamps where I was, I couldn't buy a hot meal with it. So I would use the crochet money to buy a hot meal. I'm sitting in Starbucks. This woman, daughter, she had got 2 headbands, 2 scarves I had made for her daughter. I had gave it to her the day before, and she said that she was going to come up to Starbucks and pay me the next day. I was like, okay. And so, you know what? At this time, I wasn't receiving food stamps. I wasn't. So she came up to Starbucks, her and her daughter, I think 2 daughters, or a daughter and a friend. The woman came up to Starbucks. I'm like, okay, cool. She's here. I can buy me a meal later on. She came in there, got her drink. She was walking out. She looked over at me, because I could see from the corner of my eye. She looked over at me and she walked straight out the door. My heart sunk because I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing to buy me anything to eat for that day, nothing. And so, like I said, I was using the money to buy food. I had went through so much with the food, with the welfare and food stamps, that I thought I would have to go through this every time it was time to renew, but that wasn't true. But I didn't know it was my first time being on food stamps as an adult. And I didn't know that I didn't have to go through all what I went through the first time. So I dread going back to the welfare office. So I was using the crochet money to buy me something to eat. And when she did that, I was like, my heart sunk. I didn't have no food that night. I was so hungry. That's the night that I remember the orange that was in the trunk. Because I did a video a while back about how an orange can bring you back to your right mind when you're hungry and you losing your mind. How orange can just bring everything back together. But that's the night that I had the orange. But so yeah, I never liked her after that. I never liked her because she knew my situation. She knew I was living in my car. She knew I was homeless. And she gave me her word that she would pay me the next day. And then she came in Starbucks, bought her drink, looked at me, and walked out. I thought that was so low and so shady of someone to do that. I just never liked her again, ever. And I never trusted her. Her husband, she have a nice husband, and I had contacted him through someone, and her husband came and paid me. So her husband was a fireman. But, so I just never liked her. So one time she came in, I didn't speak to her, but I spoke to her husband. So she told her husband I didn't speak to her. So he never speaks anymore. When he see me, he don't speak. But it's like I always have to go up to them and speak to them. Then he'll talk just fine. But he doesn't speak anymore because I didn't speak to her one time when we was at Starbucks, and she told him that. But I don't know if he don't know. Maybe he don't realize what she did. But yeah, I just can't get with that. And if I don't speak to them, then they won't speak. They won't speak at all. But I don't care. I don't care. What she did was wrong. That woman goes to church, claims she's a Christian, but that was so wrong what she did. That was like something that a person would do on the streets. That's what a street person would do. But you call yourself a Christian and you go to church, and you did that to me. So, when people like that, when you give them a service and they forget to pay you, that hurts. That really hurts you. Stop hurting. Stop letting people hurt you and ask for your money. And that's how I'm going to live from now on. I'm not going to suffer behind someone not paying me for a service. I'm going to ask for my money just like they asked for my service. And you do the same too. Have a good day. Bye.